Hello everyone, today I wanted to share my favorite songs of 2022 with you. Before I get into it, a couple quick disclaimers. Sorry for any background noise or dust particles that may occur throughout this video. This list is not in order. I feel like that would be too challenging for me to do besides my song of the year really. And also there's some songs that I like that I won't mention today, but if you want to see the ones that didn't make the cut, I'll have it linked down below in the Spotify playlist that I made. Also going to be reading on my phone as I always do. And so let's get into it. The first song that I want to talk about is going to be Kissing Lessons by Lucy Dacus. I think that she's a great writer. I like her vocal on here and can appreciate the production on here as well. And then she also released some Spotify singles that I really enjoyed. So on her last album Home Video, there is a song called Partner in Crime and it's drenched in autotune. I believe she said something like she was trying to sing it that day and her voice kept cracking, so they just drenched it in autotune and just like called it a day, right? And so that's a song that I could appreciate in context of the album, but I always wondered what it would have sounded like if it would have been stripped back, right? And so when she releases, I was like, finally, I really wanted to hear this version. And it's a completely different vibe from the album version, at least in my personal opinion. I think I actually prefer it. Sometimes I just listen to it on its own. And I do like the album version still, but this one I like a little bit more. So I really love what she's doing on here. You have the acoustic guitar going, and so just really enjoyable to listen to overall. I love the writing on this song very, very much. Decent vocal on here, and so I really like that. And then she also did a cover of Cher's song Believe, and she slowed it down a lot, and for me, I'm kind of split on whenever people slow down fast lines to cover. Sometimes I think that it's amazing, sometimes I think that it's not necessary. Maybe it's because like the lyrics of the song, sometimes like it just doesn't work as well slowed down. Like it kind of sounds silly or something like that. Sometimes it just doesn't work slow down for me. But I actually liked her cover of it a lot more than I was expecting, so it's definitely something that I really quite enjoyed. A completely different vibe than Cher's version, but something that I really enjoyed listening to throughout this year. Next up, Miley Cyrus released a live album, and so a few songs that really stood out to me. She did a cover of Madonna's song called Like a Prayer. I prefer her vocal on this version, and I think that she sounds great on here, and she really captures the energy quite nicely, so I really like her rendition of it. And then she also has a song called You, which I think is beautiful to listen to. I really like her vocal on here and the instrumentation as well. And I really hope that this is the direction she will be going with on her next album, because I just think that it's really great overall, so we will just have to wait and see, but I really love this song. Next up is going to be Inseparable by Jershika Maple. So I believe that this is a cover of a Natalie Cole song, and so I think Jershika sounds sublime on this with her vocal performance. I love instrumentation. All of it is just something that is really wonderful to listen to, so she did a splendid job in my personal opinion. I quite enjoyed Sidelines by Phoebe Bridgers, decent writing on there, and I really like the vocal and production too. Next up is going to be Plan B by Megan Thee Stallion, and so she just ate this song up. I think her delivery on this is spectacular overall. She just really owns it, and she's just in her own pocket with this one, so I just really love what she's doing on this song. It gets stuck in your head. And then I also really like the songwriting on here as well, and I remember hearing this whenever she performed it at Coachella and waiting for her to put it out, so really glad that it's out there, and one of my favorite rap songs this year 100%, and I think that Megan's very talented overall. And then I also really liked her song Anxiety off of her brand new album Traumazine. She did perform it on Saturday Night Live, and I just gave it another listen recently, and I just really like the songwriting on here. And she's just saying like, yeah, I've had a lot of stuff happen in my personal life too, and you know, that just happens sometimes, and so it's something that's relatable in that regard, but I also like her rapping on there too, and you can kind of feel the rawness of it overall, and it's something that like touches you as well, so I think that it's a really important song overall, and I just really quite enjoyed it. Another favorite rap song this year for me, so definitely had to make my list for sure. Next up, I wanted to share some of my favorite songs off of the brand new Florence and the Machine album. So I really loved Dream Girl Evil, just in terms of the vocal and the production. Another song that really stood out to me is Cassandra. This song is absolutely incredible. I just really love the vocal on it, and there's something about it that just feels so intense, so I really love that about the song as well. The production on there, the songwriting, just really love the song. Always been a standout for me on this record. I also really remember loving Daffodil as well. Just the way that it builds is absolutely insane, and the chorus is something that is unique, but it's also something that is catching overall, and so I just really love the urgency of that track in a way, so that's also going to be a favorite for me as well. Next up, I wanted to share a few of my favorite songs on the brand new Harry Styles record, Harry's House. And so after months of listening to this record, I was finally able to pick what my favorite song is, which is going to be Daylight. I just think that this is so incredibly catchy. His vocals are really gratifying to listen to. One of my favorite vocal on the entire album, of course. And then I also really like the lyrics as well, and the production. It's just something that feels really light to listen to, and just something that I love overall. And then my second favorite song on this album is definitely going to be Late Night Talking. I remember him debuting this at Coachella, and I just instantly fell in love with it. I think that this one is also one that is very catchy as well, and I really love the instrumentation on it. This song 1000% is better live. I got to see him in concert and seeing him perform this one live with the horns. I'm like, yeah, this version is it. His vocal live was amazing on that as well, so I really like the vocal on the song as well. And yeah, this song is just a banger. It deserves all the appreciation that it gets, and I just really hope that over time it kind of gets more and more and more popular, because I really think that it deserves it. Really love the song so much. I cannot say enough good things about it. If you're looking for great pop music to listen to this year, I would highly recommend that song and Daylight for sure, and the whole album of course, but those two are like the main standouts to me. And then I also really love Music for a Sushi Restaurant. The horns on this song are absolutely immaculate. Just the sheer energy running throughout this song is completely unmatched, and so that's what I really love about it. It's something that's different for him, but he really owns it. So I really like the vocal delivery, and this one live is absolutely phenomenal as well. So I really love hearing the song live. And then next up is going to be Matilda. Objectively, you could say that this is the best song on the album, and I wouldn't disagree with you. I think that the songwriting in here is great. Definitely shout out to the songwriters on this track. I love his vocals on here. The bridge hits you hard every single time. And yeah, just one of the standout moments of the record for a reason, and it's something that hits a lot of people hard for a reason. So I really quite enjoy the song. And then the last song that I want to mention today is actually going to be Keep Driving. This one is just so light and breezy, and you just want to listen to it with the wind running through your hair as you're driving your car. And so I just really love how refreshing that the song is overall. It's short and sweet. It doesn't overstay its welcome. The bridge on here is so much fun to listen to every single time. Kehlani released Blue Water Road this year, and my favorite song easily is going to be Wish I Never. This is one that I was really locked in whenever I first heard it, and so anytime that I come back to this record and I just want to hear a few songs, this is always a go-to for me at this point. And yeah, this song just goes off. The energy of the song, like, it just gets me so hyped up every single time I listen to it. Kehlani's vocal on here is absolutely immaculate, and I just really love the energy that they are providing on this song in terms of the vocal performance. I really like the lyrics and just how everything shapes together. And it was so interesting for me to find out that they had to be convinced to put this song on the album. And I'm really, really glad they were talked into it, because like I said, I think that this is the best record on here. But yeah, I just ate this song up with ease. Everything about the song is just really gratifying to listen to. So easily a favorite for me on this record. And then I also really like the song that she did with Blast, and it's going to be called Any Given Sunday. I like his feature on it. I think that he comes on the song really smoothly. And Kehlani just owned the song once again. It's something that is so satisfying to listen to. It was released the deluxe version of Control this year, and it was definitely a treat for me to listen to. I can appreciate all the deluxe songs, but my favorite easily is going to be Jody. I believe that Tyler, the creator, produces, and I think that he did a fantastic job overall. The production is something that is so bright and uplifting and cool and intricate to listen to. And I love her vocal on here. It's just something that feels really fun and whimsical to listen to. And I think that that goes with the production quite nicely. I really like the lyrics for this as well. And it's just the one that caught my ear most in terms of melody. And so I think it's a really great track. And then I also really love Percolator as well. It's so short and sweet. It's like right when you really get into it, that's when it's over, and that sucks about it. But the entire thing is just really great. So those are like my absolute favorites on the Control Deluxe. And she just released her sophomore album called SOS, and I absolutely love it. So I really love the title track. I really think it's cool how she interpolated Listen by Beyonce. I think that it's a great intro for the record. The production in here is top tier, so definitely shout out to Jay Versace for the production work. And then I also really quite remember liking Kill Bill. Everybody's favorite song is Kill Bill on the album. I had no idea that everyone's favorite song was going to be that. I love it very, very much. I think that it's a great track. Next up, I really love Blind. It was so cool to get to hear this thing in its entirety, and I really love her vocal on here and the production. It's just something that is very intriguing to listen to overall on all fronts. I think that she did a great job with this track, and definitely a highlight. And then I also really love Gone Girl. People are not giving this song enough appreciation for me. Definitely one of the best songs in the album, of course, in my opinion. And so the bridge on this song hits harder every single time that I listen to it. I think that her vocal on here is just stellar overall to listen to, so one of my favorites. And then I also really like Nobody Gets Me, of course. Love the collaboration with Phoebe Bridgers. Probably my favorite collaboration of this year, if I'm honest. I just think the way that they work together is one for the books, and that is the point of collaboration with a song. A lot of times I feel like artists just get together on a song because, oh, we can do it, and it's like they're not really trying to bring the best out of each other. But with this song, they definitely are bringing out the best of each other. This Phoebe verse is something that is so amazing to listen to overall. I love what SZA's doing on this track, and just everything really comes together nicely on this. So I love this track so much. The production on here, the title being Ghost in the Machine, is so fitting as well. So overall, I cannot stress enough how much I love this track. I also really love Far. I feel like it's something that really encapsulates the album cover, just because she's saying, I'm far, stay away from me. And then in the cover, you know, you kind of have to like zoom in to see her. So I think that's kind of what it is, being happy with the isolation and everything. So I really like Far. And then the last song on here that I really love is definitely going to be Shirts. We waited so long for the song, and she did not disappoint. She absolutely ate this song up. And so it's just one that I keep enjoying listening to. Dark Child did a fantastic job in the production, just really blew me away with that. I love her lyrics on here, something that's so relatable. And like I said before, I think SZA is one of the best songwriters working today. And so I hate whenever people don't give her credit as a songwriter, because I feel like she really deserves it. And she's obviously doing something right, because everybody want to keep ripping her off, and they're doing a horrible job, obviously, and nobody can do her music justice like she can. I think that she makes really relatable music and something that's introspective, and she writes really catchy melodies as well. And I remember hearing a lot of times that she just goes in and freestyle, so that's also something that you have to do. Next up, Kelly Clarkson released this EP of covers, and it's called Karaoke, and I absolutely loved this thing, and a lot more than I was expecting to, and she just absolutely nailed it. My absolute favorite cover on here is going to be whenever she covered Queen of the Night by Whitney Houston. Covering Whitney Houston is no small task. She's one of the best singers of all time, time. 90% of singers cannot do that woman justice because she was so ridiculously talented and just had amazing technique, and she was called the voice for a reason. One of my favorite singers ever, right? And so Kelly was actually able to do her justice, and I prefer this version more than Whitney's version. Like I said, Whitney's one of the best singers of all time, of course. I just really like with Kelly's version the way that it builds up as you keep listening to it. With Whitney's version, it kind of starts in one place and it kind of stays in that, you know, the whole time in terms of just the arrangement of the song. But Kelly changes up the arrangement. Like I said, she starts it off slower and it really builds. And her vocals on the song are absolutely insane. And she was able to just add her own flair onto it and just really make it her own. So I really have to give her kudos for that. And so I keep going back and listening to this song. So I love it so much. And then I also really love her version of Call Out My Name by The Weeknd. Ate him up, and it's not even close. I think that he's a good singer, great songwriter, of course. But after getting so used to her version and just how impeccable it is vocally and everything that she's doing there, and listening to his version, for me personally, it just pales in comparison. Like, she did what she had to do in the song. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, she sang like her rent was due. Flo released their EP this year called Lead. My favorite song on here is going to be Summertime. This song definitely lives up to the title. It is just something that is very entertaining to listen to overall. I think that the production here is flawless. I love the songwriting on here as well. I think that the vocals on here are amazing overall, and they really stand out on their own, but then whenever you put them together and you hear the harmony, it's just something that really blows you away every single time. And you can tell these girls study the grades like a Brandy, like a Beyonce, like a Mariah Carey. Everything really shows out in the presentation, in the vocal, in the harmony, and that is something that I appreciate so much, because a lot of people have lost the art of performing. They are coming to win, and you really love to see it. So love this song very much. And then I also really love this song that it did called Not My Job as well. And there's this one part whenever the production drops out and it's just a cappella, and that is absolutely stunning to listen to. So that is a banger. Love the song so much. I love the progression of it as well, and I just really love them as a group and what they're doing with R&B, and I think 2023 is going to be a huge year for them, so I cannot wait to see what they do next. And now it is time to talk about Beyonce. Let's talk about my favorite songs on Renaissance. So let's talk about my song of the year first, which is going to be Virgo's Groove. The more that I kept listening to this album after I did my video sharing my updated opinions, I had to come to the conclusion that Virgo's Groove is the best song on the album. The atmosphere of this song is just so ridiculously cool and very unique as well, and I think that her vocal performance on here is some of the best work that she's done throughout her entire career. Like, the second half of the song is just jaw-dropping. She's showing off some amazing musicality on this song overall, and she just makes it sound so easy. And I'm so sick of people saying Beyonce can't sing. Like I said before, give this woman her credit as a vocalist. She's only getting better with time, and just because she's not singing like she did on her first few records doesn't mean that she can't sing anymore. Just go listen to the records and stop saying that she's overrated. But anyways, her vocals on the song are spectacular. Love what she's doing in terms of that, and just very creative overall in terms of the arrangement. The production on here, chef's kiss to the production, absolutely ate that up. And I really like the writing on here as well, and it's something that's like a 6-minute song, but it does not feel that way because I'm enjoying every single second of this thing. She absolutely ate this thing up in the studio. And also I really love the transition from Plastic Off the Sofa into the song. I just think that is something that is so ridiculously cool, and my favorite transition on the album. All the transitions on the album are great, of course, but this is my favorite. And yeah, I just think everything on the song is top notch, and that is why it's my personal song of the year. And the next song that I wanted to talk about is going to be Plastic Off the Sofa. So kind of a slower moment on the record, not by much, it's just a little bit of a different vibe compared to the rest of the songs on the record, but it's something that I still absolutely love. I think that her vocals on here are just something that are earth-shattering to listen to, and you just have to check it out. And again, she's showing off amazing musicality on this track, so I love what she's doing on here with the vocal. I think that the lyrics on here are good as well, and I really love the production on this thing. It's just something that is so smooth to listen to, so everything on the song is great. And then next up, let's talk about Alien Superstar. The confidence on this track and the entire vocal delivery on here might just be my favorite part of it, and she just really owns this entire song. I love the lyrics for it as well. The production on here is just simply out of this world, and so they just did an excellent job with the production, and it's something that really lives up to the title of it. I think that it's something that is very interesting to listen to overall. I love the way that this song progresses, and the outro of the song is very cool. It's probably one of my favorite songs in her entire discography for sure. Definitely like a top 20 Beyonce song for me. And I would definitely say the same about Plastic Off the Sofa and Virgo's Groove, of course. Love those songs. This was one that I was anticipating, and it has not let me down. It's just something that is amazing overall. Next up, I wanted to talk about Cuff It. This just brings a smile to my face every single time that I listen to it. It's something that is so fun and something that feels so carefree and just wonderful overall. I love Beyonce's vocal on here. I think that she sounds great. And I also really appreciate the guitar from Nile Rodgers. I think that it just adds so much to the song as well. Production on here is flawless, and I really like the lyrics, and just everything on the song was executed so well, and so it deserves all the praise that it gets. Just the feel-good anthem of the year, at least for me. And then the last song that I want to mention today is America Has a Problem. Some of you guys are not appreciating this song enough. I hate whenever I see rankings for this album and people put this as last or next to it. I'm like, definitely not the worst song on the album, but hey, that's just my opinion there. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, of course. But you know, with the title, you would think it's gonna be like this political song, but it's really not. She is getting into her bag with this song. She absolutely ate this up. I love her vocal delivery on here. I love her confidence once again. And I'm telling you, once you realize how good that this song is, you just want to keep coming back to it time and time again. And definitely one of the best songs on the album. So some of you guys, I feel like you just need to give it another try. At least that's how I'm feeling. I really do love the song. Yeah, just so ridiculously entertaining to listen to. I just love all the elements of the song. This year was the 25th anniversary of Mariah Carey's album Butterfly, my favorite album from her and definitely her best album in my personal opinion, and there's so many reasons for that. And so she released like the expanded version of the album this year, and so my favorite tracks off of that, first of all, is going to be The Roof with Brandy. And so what I really appreciate about whenever she re-records her tracks is that she makes it something that is worth your while to listen to, and she's going to add on to it, and it makes you want to come back to it more than the original. And so for this, we have some added whistles and like vocals in there, and so it's just really cool to listen to just in terms of the vocal arrangement alone. Getting to watch it on Masterclass, you just see how intricate the vocal arrangement is on this, and that's why I always say Mariah is definitely the best at doing background vocals, and nobody feels out of song like she does. And so it was really cool to get to see the entire process of just the background vocals as well. And then I really love Brandy's contribution to the track as well. The vocal Bible, of course, one of my favorite singers ever, along with Mariah. And so I just really love Brandy's contributions. I think that their voices blend together really, really well, and so it was really cool to get to hear Brandy on the track. Would I have liked to hear her more on it? Of course, because I love Brandy's voice, but I think that her contribution to the song was great, and I'm really glad that they were able to collaborate. And I believe that they said that they are going to be collaborating again, maybe for Brandy's new album, maybe for Mariah's new work. I don't know what they're going to be collaborating for, but I'd really like to hear them work together again on a completely new song, because I think that that'd be very cool. But I just think that this was exquisite overall in terms of what they were able to do with it, and just so cool. I love Mariah's songwriting on here. Like I always say, she doesn't get the credit that she deserves as a songwriter. Incredible in terms of the storytelling on that track, and I think that the Mobb Deep sample that was incorporated onto there is really cool, and she was truly able to do it justice. So I feel like every element of the song on the original she is able to improve upon, and I usually come back to this more than the original just because I feel like so much was added onto it, and I just keep wanting to. Sometimes I do listen to the original, but most of the time I keep coming back to this, and so it is just something that really draws you in overall, and something that is amazing to listen to, and I just really love what they did vocally and just really showed off as it should. So very cool overall. Two of the best singers ever to do it in my personal opinion. And then you also have this remix that she did of Honey. It's called the Another Taste of Honey remix, and it was produced by David Morales, who she's worked with before. And so this was something that was fascinating to listen to. I think that her vocals on here are spectacular to listen to. And so one thing I appreciate that she did with a lot of her remixes is that she would actually go in and re-record her vocal to kind of fit what the new production was, kind of just like go over that. And so that's something that's cool to listen to, and I really miss whenever artists do that. Now it's like they go for the remix and then they just take out a verse and then they add another artist in there. There's not as much creativity as it used to be. You know, back like 20-30 years ago when it was a remix, it was actually different. You had different production, you had a different vocal on there, and it was something that was worth your while. So I really appreciate the effort that she puts into her remixes, and the vocal on here really stands out. I love the background singers on here. I love the energy of the song as well, and just something that was so cool to listen to. So love this one very much. Next up, Rina Sawayama released the album called Hold the Girl, which I loved, and so some of my favorite tracks, I really love the title track. I just think that it's really cool just in terms of the way that it progresses as well. I think that her vocal on here is a treat to listen to. I really like her lyrics for this as well. And then I also really love Catch Me in the Air. The production is giving me late 90s, early 2000s, and I absolutely love it. I think that it's really cool what they tapped into on that specific song. I think that her vocals on here are wonderful to listen to, and I really like the lyrics and the sentiment as well. And I also really like Frankenstein, and this is one that I feel like I've been appreciating more because I saw the music video that she did for it, and I thought that the visual was very cool for the title of the song, and just the energy of the song. It's just something that's really cool overall, so I really like the song. And then lastly is going to be Semi Love to John. I think that this is definitely one of the best vocal performances on the entire album, and I can appreciate how she approached the subject matter, and just everything comes together really nicely on this track, so definitely a favorite for me. Next up, Paramore released a few singles this year in anticipation for their new album called This Is Why that's going to be dropping next year. And so the first one was the title track, which I really quite enjoyed. I thought that it was a nice little comeback single, so I really liked it. And then they also did this song called The News, which I just recently listened to. And the way that I interpreted this track, she's just saying like sometimes we have to turn off the news because it can have a negative impact on our mental health. And I feel like a lot of times we've gotten desensitized to horrible things that have happened because they are such a common occurrence now, which is really sad as well. And sometimes it's like you want to help, but you are not able to because, you know, one person can only do so much, or like whatever situation is. So you feel kind of helpless behind a computer screen and you're just wishing that you could do more. And there's these big figures that could be doing more, but they're basically doing nothing. And there's people that are spreading propaganda and not putting the real things out there in order to benefit themselves. And so that's kind of like how I interpreted the track. So I really appreciated the subject matter. I thought the Haley's vocals on here was something that were really cool to listen to. And I also really love the guitar riff on here. I thought it was very interesting, and the drums on here really stood out to me as well. So really like this track. And they're 2 for 2 on singles right now. And excited to listen to the new album when it comes out. I will be doing an album reaction on the channel, so definitely subscribe if you want to see that. Taylor Swift released her new album Midnights, and a few of my favorite tracks on here. I really love Maroon. I think that it's something that that is so satisfying to listen to, just in terms of the vocal delivery as well. That's something that really caught my ear. And then I also really like the songwriting, and the production fits it really well. Something that's really moody and cool as well. And so definitely one of my favorite track twos that she's done. It's something that I've really appreciated since the album was released. I also really liked You're On Your Own, Kid. I think that it is a worthy track 5, of course, and I think that the songwriting on here is superb, as we've come to expect. And I think that the bridge on here is absolutely insane, and so definitely one of my favorite parts of the entire album for sure. So really love the bridge on here. Next up is going to be Bejeweled. Like I said, this song is giving Lover in the best way. Just something that is very fun to listen to. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's something that I always really appreciate. So I think it's pretty catchy as well. And now onto my favorite song on this album, which is definitely going to be Karma. Like I said before, this song is pop perfection. Definitely one of Taylor's best pop songs in my personal opinion. Are the lyrics the best? No, but I can forgive it just because of the way that she owns it and the confidence that she has on this track. And one of my favorite parts on the song is the breakdown, and the way that she transitions back into the chorus is something that I think is just genius overall. I really like how the song was written on the whole, and then I also think that the production on here is so fitting and excellent, and just something that's really dynamic and pulls you in as well. I like her vocal on here, and just a very cool song overall. Always been my favorite from first listen. Next up is going to be Sweet Nothing. I think that this is a wonderful song to listen to, something that's so comforting. The bridge is another one of the best moments on this album, and yeah, this song is just impeccable. Love it so much. The writing on here is top tier, and then I love the great word as well. The bridge on here is something that always really grabs my attention every single time that I listen to it, and just really pulls me in. So the production from Aaron Dessner on this track, great writing as well. And then the last song that I'm going to mention today is going to be Paris. I think that the pre-chorus for the song is just so ridiculously catchy and strong overall, and I really like this song overall. Next up, Coco Jones released her EP called What I Didn't Tell You, and definitely shout out to a subscriber for recommending that I listen to this. I don't think that I would have listened to this on my own, so thank you so much. I quite enjoyed it. And so my favorite song on here is definitely going to be the first track, Crazy For Me. I think that it's the one that kind of grabbed my attention the most, and so I really like it overall with the vocal and the production and the lyrics. It just really grabs me in. And then I also really like the second track, Caliber, as well. But I like the entire EP. It's something that is so short and sweet, and they asked me to do an entire video on it. I couldn't do a reaction because I just listened to it on my own time. But later this week, I'm going to be sharing my favorite albums of this year, and so then I'm going to have a section for EPs, and I will give a little bit more detail in terms of my thoughts on this one. But once again, thanks for the recommendation so much. I think that the new Wise Blood album is great, and my favorite song is definitely going to be Children of the Empire. It's just something that is so compelling in terms of the production on here. I really love the lyrics, and I think that the vocals are nice to listen to overall. And then I also really love a track called The Worst Is Done as well. Next up, I want to talk about this Paul McCartney song that was released. So I believe it's been out for a bit, but I think he just put it on streaming services, and so it was my first time ever listening to it, at least the first time I remember listening to it, and it's called Right Away. And I actually really quite enjoyed it. I thought that the melody on here was great. I thought that the vocal was nice to listen to. Definitely the one that I liked the most out of the new songs that I heard from him, so I would recommend it if you like rock music and his kind of style. Lastly, I want to talk about some of my favorite songs off of Lil Simz' new album called No Thank You. So the first track, Angel, is one that just really caught my attention immediately. It just really sucks you in. Like, her performance on here is ridiculously captivating. I love the lyrics on here. I think she says something like, how to grab the pin when I remember that I'm Jay-Z, or something like that, and I thought that that was a cool reference there. So I really like this song, and just one that really pulls you in just listening to it immediately. And then the second track on here is going to be called Gorilla, and the production in here is kind of giving me like soul or jazz vibes, and just the way that she performs over top of this is just stellar overall. I love the lyrics for this thing. The instrumentation is something that is so grandiose and cool, and just everything really comes together nicely on this track. The next song that I want to talk about is going to be Silhouette. So the production on here is something that really grabs me, and I feel like it's something that kind of has like an eerie vibe or like a dark vibe to it. And I feel like it perfectly matches the lyrics because she's kind of just talking about her life and just being more so introspective. So I thought it was cool in that regard, and just one that I really loved overall, and thought that it was a really strong track. And then next up, I want to talk about X. So she's kind of talking more so about racism on here and saying like, oh, they expect us to get over like the civil rights movement and slavery and blah blah blah, but it's like we're still dealing with the effects of slavery and stuff. And so it's like, no, we're not going to get over it. And Black people have been through so much in regards to that, and talking about being exploited, whether that is through slavery or whether that is someone stealing an idea, and just so much stuff that Black people go through. And so I just thought that this song was brilliantly executed. I love the choir on here, and I just feel like this is a song that was very important on the record, and you leave the song feeling exactly how she wants you to do. So I just think that this song was top tier overall, and definitely stand out for me on the record. And then the last song that I want to talk about today is going to be Broken. I think that her storytelling on here is spectacular overall. I really love her writing on this track, and so this is like a 7-minute song, but it's something that really has me engaged all the way throughout, which is a huge compliment. I hate whenever people make songs and then the first half of it is basically the essence of the song, and then the back half they're just riffing off it, and it's like you could have kept that. But this song, I'm really engaged throughout the entire time. Like I said, I love her storytelling on this track, so definitely going to be a highlight on the album for me, of course. So that is going to be it for my favorite songs of 2022. Like I said, there are some that I didn't mention that I still really liked, but I kind of wanted to keep it to more so my core favorites for today. So if you want to see something that I really like that didn't make the list, again, that'll be linked down below in a little Spotify playlist that I made, of course. And there might be new songs that I discovered at the end of this year that I felt like I should have added, or songs that I get to next year off of albums that I hadn't had the opportunity to listen to, right? So that playlist will be updated if needed. needed. But I would really love to know what you guys are thinking down below, of course. Any songs that you feel like I completely missed that should have been on the list. What are your favorite songs of this year? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, if you wanted to see my favorite songs of last year, I'll have a card on the screen right here to where you guys can go to. And like I said, I will be doing a video later this week on my favorite albums of this year, so definitely subscribe if you guys would like to see that as well. But that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, give it a like down below. It helps me out online into the algorithm. I very much appreciate it. You guys can also subscribe right down below if you want to see more videos like this. If you hit the bell, you get a notification to your phone when I post, you not miss some brand new videos come out. The first link down below in the description is going to be my second channel. I just posted a new video on there recently, and it is going to be me doing a little vinyl haul of albums that I literally got for my birthday, and I just now got to opening it up. I have some Aaliyah in there and some other stuff, so definitely go check me out on there if you're interested. I'm also gonna have my Twitter, my Instagram, my Spotify. Like I said, the playlist is on my Spotify if you guys want to follow me. And lastly, my TikTok. I've been getting a lot more active on there. I just started giving my opinions on the Billboard Hot 100 chart every week. I'm doing some other stuff and giving some kind of unique creative ideas. Just some ideas I have, and like I can't really make a full video on there because it's just not enough material to work with. So I've been getting a lot more creative on TikTok, so definitely follow me if you want to see more of my music opinions. Like I said, it'll be linked down below. And then lastly, I'm gonna have links to educate you guys on important situations. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.